One common approach to qualitative research involves a process like the one here on screen, in which researchers conduct interviews, transcribe those interviews, and then go through a process of analysis involving identifying codes and generating themes within those transcripts. Those will then be used to write a research paper. Unfortunately, this process can be very time-intensive, with 1 hour of transcript data leading to approximately 10 hours of analysis. The last few years have seen incredible increases in the performance of large language models. Many examples exist of researchers applying them to various tasks, including writing research papers. While these applications are fun and exciting, we thought it would be interesting to focus on a narrow context, one in which it might be possible for large language models to have a tangible positive impact on the research process. We decided to look at how various aspects of this qualitative research process might look if replaced by large language models, potentially taking us from a process that looks like this to one that looks more like this, in which the researchers skip the analysis step completely and hand it off to a large language model. Or we could even remove the transcript data to end up with a process that looks like this. Or we could use large language models to replace the participants by having them generate synthetic responses to interview questions. Or we could even use them to replace the researchers at various stages, like generating new research topics to explore, or writing interviews or survey questions. To show what this process might look like in practice, we've put together a basic GUI hooked up to the GPT-3 API. The first idea we were interested in was applying large language models to replace qualitative analysis because it can be one of the most time-intensive parts of the process. If a large language model is capable of generating an analysis that is arguably similar to one written by human researchers for the same qualitative data, and is able to do so in seconds, this could mean that large language models could be a feasible tool for significantly speeding up qualitative research in the future. If we look on the left, in this example, we can see a prompt that can be used to induce GPT-3 to generate themes and discussion of qualitative data taken from a real published research paper. The example portion of the prompt includes a research topic, here the future of robots in society, a research question involving how this type of robot could have an impact on society, and then a set of participant responses to that question, followed by a modified version of the original discussion section published and written by researchers for that set of qualitative data. The prompt then includes, so that is the example portion of the prompt. And then this next portion of the prompt is the request portion for the model to carry out. So this portion includes another research topic, here the health of professional esports players, and then another question related to professional esports players' experiences with stress or mental strains related to playing esports. And then this is again paired with a set of participant responses taken from that research study that participants gave in response to that question. And then we can ask the model to generate a discussion section with a set of themes that it identifies in this set of qualitative data from the esports players. So if we look here on the right, on the top, this is the discussion generated by the model. And then here on the bottom is a modified and abbreviated version of the published discussion section for the same qualitative data. It would be too long to include the full output from the paper, so we shortened it. And then we've also modified it so that the main ideas are numbered and also labeled with a title so that they can be easily compared between the model output and this published output. So if we look here at the output generated by the model, the first theme that the model generates and discusses is stress and mental health. And if we look down below, that pairs really well with the first one that was generated or written by human researchers discussing stress and anxiety. And if we look through the discussion sections, we will see a link between them where this one again discusses anxiety and mentions of stress later on in the discussion, it also mentions more about anxiety. But we do see here stress at the beginning, anxiety here, and how it's related to their performance. And if we look at what the model generated, it also discusses stresses that they experience related to playing, fear of failure, not meeting expectations, and various pressures, and then anxiety that they experience related to their experience playing professionally. Although the second one, social isolation, does not clearly link up with either of the others, this is something that we find relatively commonly. The model will often generate at least one theme that is very similar and almost identical to what human researchers discussed for the same qualitative data, but they don't always link up identically. So that is one thing to note, but that could be a way also for researchers to explore other possible themes in the data that they might not have otherwise considered. But again, just looking at themes and discussion are not the only things that we're interested in. What if we have a potential vague area of research that we're interested in, and could we use a large language model to essentially run a quick synthetic study to see what kind of results we might expect to end up with? If we look here, we can modify the prompt slightly to have one that we can give to the model to ask it to generate research topics that we could then explore further. Here, this is just a simple request, but we could obviously modify this even more to have it come up with deeper or more nuanced topics. So here we'll choose this one, wearable computing. And then we can also modify the prompt to ask GPT-3 to generate questions that we could ask in an interview related to wearable computing. So if we look here, what kind of features do you like do you think are important for wearable computing devices? Do you think wearable computing devices are secure? These are all related to that topic. So let's choose one, and then we can ask the model also to generate some participant responses related to that question and that topic. So the example that we've given here for this prompt, the example of participant responses are very simple for this set. So we don't expect that they would be deeply nuanced. They may appear shallow in this one. We kept it simple for this presentation, and because we wanted a relatively short set of responses, just so we can look through them reasonably quickly. But you could obviously edit this and put more lengthy or more nuanced responses and get different results. But here we have a reasonable set of responses that we can then use again to generate a set of themes for this set of data that we've just generated. And so here the model identifies 3 themes within that data: security concerns, implications, and future research. These could all be interesting ideas related to this topic that we could reasonably expect to see in a study conducted in this area. And again, we've just done this and basically gone through this entire qualitative research process in less than 10 minutes. And gotten what could arguably be considered reasonable results. Again, these models are not perfect. Obviously, there are some issues, and there's definitely further research needed to explore concerns related to using them in qualitative research. But the results thus far are intriguing and could have far-reaching implications for the future of qualitative research. We've seen that they can be used in various aspects of qualitative research, and there is absolutely potential for them to be a powerful tool in future